Welcome back to Red Devils Talk, everyone. Your preview to our Europa League match against Omonia. Yes, you heard it here. Omonia FC from Cyprus. Tonight, I'll be previewing that. And of course, we'll be speaking about the Manchester Derby nightmare, slaughtering, whatever you want to call it. That is what we had on Sunday. A very embarrassing performance once again by these players. But we'll speak about that later on in the video. Furthermore, I feel there's a bit of a mentality struggle within the club. And that, for me personally, is a bit of a problem. But we'll speak about that all in today's video. Thank you for joining me. Subscribe to the channel and drop a like on the video if you haven't done so. So, Omonia FC, a team that not many of us knew about until we knew they were in our group in the Europa League. And in all fairness to them, it is a team that we should be winning. It cannot be a game where we are struggling to score at least one, two goals. It is a game there for confidence, for rhythm, for players to get a bit of game time. As I thought there would be changes in the team, Ten Hag, however, made it very clear that he will not make any changes and it would probably be a strong team that he will play. And I'll give that to you in his press conference comments that he had yesterday. But Omonia FC coming off 2 wins on the spin in the Cyprian League, of course, losing their first Europa League game to Real Sociedad is a bit of an obvious moment, but they also did well against Sheriff Tiraspol, losing but playing well. So they are a bit of a surprise team. They can maybe cause a bit of trouble, but we should deal with their threats quite well. There aren't many players in the team that are recognizable to the, shall I say, neutral football fan. But in terms of players such as Gary Hooper, those who remember him from Norwich City days, he is a forward that plays for them. And in my opinion, should not give us much trouble, but can, if the moment arises, if the atmosphere allows, we are playing away. And with us having mentality struggles, some of our players might not be able to cope with the pressure of a Cyprian team. But the overall team should basically do well. We should get 3 points. We should win this game and playing them again as a second leg next week. We should have 6 points. We're playing at Old Trafford against them next week, so we couldn't find ourselves losing. In actual fact, we can't find ourselves losing again after losing to Brentford, Brighton. We now lost to Man City. And of course, Real Sociedad in the Europa League. These are games where we basically did not perform well, where we lacked effort, where we lacked desire, belief. Ten Hag said it in his review after the match. He said that there was a, shall I say, a bit of choosing to run, but a lack of belief. There was a sense of not being brave enough to attack City. And we got punished for not being brave enough, for not wanting to run, for not wanting to fight and show a desire to compete. We basically made schoolboy errors, conceded goals that you would see in a youth league, not necessarily a top Premier League match. And of course, we're not at the level City is, but we are and were capable of scoring goals. We did it in the second half. We played better. Well, maybe City, took their foot off the pedal and we scored, and then, they scored again when they made it 6. But the fact of the matter remains, we could have attacked them if we were brave enough, but we were not. And against Omonia, you would have expected changes by Ten Hag. Maybe Maguire coming in to start. I would have loved to have seen a Bruno being dropped, Rashford being dropped, the likes of, shall I say, Anthony and Sancho starting, and Ronaldo, of course, Casemiro also needing to start definitely tonight. McTominay was completely dreadful in the game against City, and we need to have that change in tonight's match. We need to have a much better performance, and let's score a lot of goals. Score 4, score 5 for a bit of confidence, for a bit of rhythm and patterns of play. These is all things that will improve the team overall. We play Everton on Sunday, and that in itself allows us to know that we need to rest players for Sunday. But Ten Hag wants to play a strong team. He said it in his press conference notes. And let me just confirm the team news for you. So Eric Ten Hag basically said that Rafael Varane, Harry Maguire, Van de Beek, and Wan Bissaka will miss tomorrow's game. So You perhaps look at Varane maybe keeping himself for Sunday against a team like Omonia. He should not be playing, in my opinion. I don't think it's necessary for him to play in such a game. So we're probably going to be having Lindelof and Martinez playing at centre back. And that is a good enough partnership, but definitely Lindelof has shown to lack a bit of quality, especially when he came on against City. We lacked a bit of defensive prowess, but you can't blame him for that alone. Malacia was off, Martinez was off, Delo was off, the gear. Basically, you cannot blame him for any of the goals because everything that happened before him allowed those chances to happen. You look at the midfield. Eriksen and McTominay and Bruno were absolutely dreadful. We didn't have a midfield against City, and that's where the game was lost. We thought that them not having Rodri would leave us in a advantageous position, but they basically showed that even though Rodri was not playing, there was still a well-oiled machine. Yes, pun intended. The oil money and all that for those who know exactly where City gets their funds from. But like I said, tonight's match, there needs to be a sense of wanting to score goals, wanting to perform well, a sense of dominating this team from the first minute to the last minute. There cannot be a sense or a moment of us conceding. I do believe the gear will start. I don't think Dubravka would play or even Tom Heaton. So I think the gear will start in goal. In the backline, I think Luke Shaw will come in. I think Martinez will start probably again with Rafael Varane. And I do think the low will probably start because Wan Bissaka being injured and Brandon Williams. In midfield, I would like to see Fred, Casemiro, and Donny. Now, I know Donny is not available, but I would have wanted to see him play in the number 10 role. So now you obviously have the choice of seeing Fred, Casemiro, and Bruno in the 10. And for the three up front, I would like to see Anthony. I would like to see Sancho on the left hand side and Ronaldo up front. That's the team I would go with to start tonight's match and would be a strong team, like Ten Hag said. You look at his quotes, and he basically said, we will play tomorrow our best team. We have to construct a team because we want a competitive culture. It had nothing to do with Casemiro. It had all to do with Scott. He furthermore went on to say, when McTominay was not in the team at Brentford, we lost. Casemiro has an important role. We know his background, the titles he's won. You see every day in training. Now, that itself tells you that Casemiro probably will start. Whether he starts alongside McTominay, whether he starts alongside a Fred or even an Eriksen again. But I think Eriksen should get a rest for the weekend, for the game against Everton. We'll be needing him more in that game than against Omonia. And that's no disrespect to Omonia FC. They are a team that are well respected in the Cypriot League, but they're not a team on our level. Yes, we are struggling. Yes, we are in a rebuilding phase. We still have a long way to go before we compete with the likes of City. And that was proven against City. We thought that we had 4 wins on the spin, but that long break we had since our last Premier League game, it did cause a bit of an upset in our rhythm, in the way our patterns of play was put out. But because of a lack of belief, like Eric Ten Hag said, we simply could not get at City. We were scared. City completely put us to the sword. And that showed exactly how far we are from the level that City is at. Now, you can say they got there because of money. You can say they got there because of the players that they have. But the fact of the matter remains, Guardiola is a fantastic coach and has shown it season in, season out. And for Ten Hag to reach that level with Manchester United, it's going to take some time. And we have to be patient at that. We have to trust the process, trust and back Erik Ten Hag. Now, of course, the board and the Glazers show a lack of belief in him and supporting him by buying players that he needs. Example, Frankie de Jong not coming. But we know that the journey will be long. It will be a roller coaster. We will have moments where we lose against City like we did, but we cannot get hammered again. We can't have a Brentford 4-0 and we can't have a City performance of a 6-3 or being beaten or annihilated in a match. That cannot happen again. These players cannot allow us as fans to feel this embarrassment because as players, and even more so as the manager Erik ten Hag, he would not want to be embarrassed like that again. That I can guarantee you. And the players need to basically cultivate that energy within the team. They need to ensure that there is a winning spirit, a winning mentality. But these players don't know how to win. There is a mentality struggle. They do find themselves in moments of adversity in a game, but don't know how to get out of it. After City scored one, we completely went into our shell like we did under an Ole. And we basically just sat back. We were afraid to make passes. We ended up making bad passes that led to us being attacked, counter-attacked even. And that in itself showed how far we are as a team mentally. City players go behind by 2, 3 goals and they still come back to win. Yes, they have the players to do so, but they have the mentality to also come back and win again. You look back at the times with Fergie, and there was always this mentality of never giving up. The documentary of himself, Sir Alex, is called Never Give In. And that is the reason why we always had last minute winning goals in Fergie time, as they call it. We managed to always grind out the result, even when we didn't play well. Now, under Oli, we did that. Even under Erik ten Hag, we did that against games like Southampton. We showed good resilience and defensive structure to win. But against City, that was non existent because of a lack of belief, because of being scared, because of not wanting to be humiliated. But it still happened because of us not being brave enough. And that is where I talk about a mentality struggle. These players have a long way to go, and they basically either need to learn to be mentally strong or they need to be replaced. And we bring in players who can play at a top level, who can face the pressure of winning every match, who can have a strong mentality and perform well and consistently on a regular basis for Manchester United. So, Omonia FC tonight, Everton on Sunday. I definitely will be doing a preview to Everton, but we focus on Omonia, and I'm sure we'll win. And I think we should be winning by at least 2 to 3 goals, if not more. This is a team we can get at. This is a team we can dominate, not just off the ball, but also in possession of the ball. And if there are changes, these changes are going to be made because Ten Hag needs one to give players game time, and two needs to ensure that there is a rhythm of a competitive culture being enhanced and cultivated at the club. Thank you guys for joining me. As always, subscribe to the channel. My name is Session. Join me again in Red Devils Talk. Enjoy the match, Red Devils. Till we speak again. Bye bye.